Hey Crafty Peeps! I have some fun Halloween DIYs for you today, so let's get into it. I downloaded some vintage Halloween clip art from Creative Fabrica, and then I pulled them into Canva and designed these two printouts. Super easy, just took a bunch of different images and plopped them down onto the canvas there. And then off to the side there you see those two picture frames I picked up from a thrift store for 25 cents total, and they are 5x7 frames, so I went ahead and printed these down at 5x7 as well. And then I cut a piece of foam board out just to push down into the back, and voila, easy peasy. I love these signs in my Halloween decor. Now, if you would like this free printable, I will have a link down in the description so that you can go to my website and download it. I love these plates from Dollar Tree, so I went ahead and I just cut the circle part out there, and then I cut just the skull out as well. And then I'm going to take one of their black canvases, which I was so excited to find before Halloween, and then I am going to take some of this Spiderweb fabric that is also from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to cover half of this sign with it. Nothing special, it's super easy to do. Just cut out a piece and use your staple gun, or really just a stapler would work as well, just to staple that baby down. And then I'm just going to put that skull circle down onto the middle of this canvas and pop up that other skull on top of it. I mean, so easy. But this is one of my favorite signs. I just think it's so simple, but it has a really great look to it. They have these napkins that go with these plates too, that have like a raven, a crow, I guess, whatever you want to call it. That's really cool too. And I didn't come up with really, I shouldn't say I didn't come up with something, but I didn't make something with the napkins, but I do want to, because I think it'll look really great with this sign. And then with the rest of the plates, I cut out 5 more of those skulls for the next project, which is really just making a quick and easy garland. I just what do you call punch punch is the word I was looking for. Punch 2 holes in the skull's head, and then I just weave in and out this silver ribbon that I have, and then I did the little like push pin, I'm telling you, I'm having a hard time with words today. Clothespin bats in between the skulls and make a super easy garland while I'm at it. But again, here I'm just using the 3D pop-up tape, and I'm just going to add that right on top of the other skull, and this is just going to give it some dimension and make it look a little bit higher end. Okay, so these circle door hangers are very popular right now, and this is my first time making one, but basically you're going to take about halfway down, and you're going to paint it one color, and then you leave a little strip in the middle, another color, and then you paint the top. So there's so many different ways. You can go into your Cricut design space and you will find so many templates for these circle signs. I mean, for $1.25 for the sign, and then use some vinyl. But I'm going to make a little 3D effect here with these ghosts from Dollar Tree. So I'm going to set them all around the bottom here, and then I'm going to mark where they would overlap. And so right here, I'm just going to overlap just a little bit on that head, and I'm going to cut that part off. So I put these all around, and the funny thing is, did I forget where I put them? Absolutely. So take a picture of how you place them, so then when you're ready to place them back down, you'll remember exactly where you did. Now, I could have gone back through the video and looked, but then I just kind of changed it up. I ended up adding one more ghost to this. Now, you're thinking, well, how am I going to cut these? I don't have any fancy tools. These are so thin, you literally can cut them with scissors. That's all I did. And I was really surprised that they didn't like crack or splinter. They cut really easy. Just take your time, make sure you have sharp scissors, and that's it. And then I filled the little holes that you see at the top, because these are ornaments, just with some wood filler, and then I painted over them. So I'm going to paint the ghosts all white, and the background there is going to be black, and then the center is going to be white, and then the top is going to be black. Okay, while everything's drying, I'm going to go ahead and make a bow. So I grabbed 3 different ribbons here, and I'm going to just make a very simple bow. So you don't even need a bow maker. I'm just doing it because it really helps size-wise, because I want one big, one medium, and one small, and so this is just the easy way to measure it. So it looks like I have 3 different ribbons there. I have one from Dollar Tree, this one, and the bummer part is I didn't have any ribbon with ghosts on it. So if you're gonna buy supplies for this, get something with ghosts. That will be super cute. I must have 20 rolls of ribbon and somehow none with ghosts on it. I don't know how that's possible. So you know what I'm going to be doing when Halloween is over? I'm going to be buying some ghost ribbon. Okay, so now that I have all my bows there, I'm just going to pinch them all together. You could do each one individually, but this way I don't get a real bulky center by making them all individually and setting them on top of each other. So I will just make it all at the same time. And then I'm going to cut those tails down pretty short because we don't want it to cover the words. Now you'll see up there at the top it says "Hey Boo." So I just literally went into Cricut Design Space and typed "Hey Boo," and a bunch came up. And so that was the one I chose, and I'm going to add that down to the sign. Okay, now it's time for the ghost, and I'm telling you, I mean, how high end does this look? I mean, with the actual wood ghosts, you see how they don't really work now? Because I didn't go back and look it up. So I actually end up putting another little ghost head in that empty space. But this is such a great alternative when you really want to make it look high end with wood 3D effect. But if you don't want to use the wood, again, you could just use your Cricut and add the ghosts with vinyl. Now I'm going to replace the, the brown twine that was already in there with some of this also from Dollar General. Some of this twine that's black and white. It's absolute perfection. And then all I have to do is add that bow, and I hate to constantly say I'm obsessed, but I am obsessed. I just want to make a bunch of these now. I'm going to make a fall one because I'm going to have a fall video come out as well. And I'm going to make a fall one with maybe some of the acorns or the leaves that Dollar Tree has. You could get a bigger circle and really make, I don't know. I just think it was so easy to make, and I think it just looks so high end. And then I found a little mini wood ghost in my stash, so I added him down to the middle, and this project is done. Okay, I grabbed this book from Dollar Tree and then I just ran it under the sink just to get it really wet. And then I went in to my computer and I designed this in Canva, and yes, I will send it to you. And I ripped, oh, I should say, I ripped 2 pieces out of the book before I wet it, and I printed out my design first so I would know exactly where it was going to print. And then I'm holding it up to the light so I get that page on there just like I like it, and I'm going to use a little bit of double stick tape, and then I'm going to run it through the printer so it prints it onto the book page. Okay, so here is what my book looks like after it's dried in the sun. And now drying it outside is also going to kind of yellow the book as well, because you're going to see how these pages are a little bit lighter. And but once I finish this project, I set it back out in the sun and it yellowed the pages. Now you can see the double stick tape runner that I used. I mean, it sticks it down because you really need the page to be stuck to the paper in order for it to go through the printer and, you know, not come off the paper and whatnot. So you're going to be very careful removing it. Remember though, if you rip it, it's okay because this is supposed to look like an old book. So I'm going to take my glue stick and glue these down. Now I thought about it. This, I should say, I found something in Michael's that was this Raven book on a little stand, and I was like, ooh, I could make that. But you could also make this like a spell book. You could do art right onto the page, have the words in the background. Make this like a cool spell book, but I went with what I saw at Michael's, which was the Raven by Edgar Allan Poe, and made the book look like that. Now off to the side you can see one of those little kind of easel stands from Dollar Tree. Now I didn't paint it. I thought it kind of like matched with the wood, and then after I just thought this isn't like popping. So at this point, before you add the book to the stand, I would paint it black. But I didn't decide to do that until after the fact. Okay, so then I just taking some hot glue. You could also change the cover here too. I mean, you can't see it from the front. I was just trying to make a quick project. So once I glue it on there, like I said, I realized I need it in black. So I just used my black paint marker and colored the background of that. And I think it definitely made it pop. Go ahead and make it look a little bit more aged by crinkling the paper. Again, put it back out in the sun so it yellows the paper. So here you see the paint marker I used, and now it pops a lot more. There's so many possibilities with that book that you could make. Grab 2 rolls each of this orange, yellow, and white mesh from Dollar Tree, and then cut it at 8 inches. Then I'm just going to roll it up, and I'm going to take 2 of each color in each bundle. So 2 orange, 2 yellow, 2 white. And then I'm going to take half of a pipe cleaner, and I'm going to just wrap it around the center of this. And then I'm just going to make a whole bunch of those. Okay, so now I'm going to take one of the witch's hats. I traced out the top part onto some poster board, and I'm just going to glue and tape this down because we're going to put some fabric over this, and it's going to be, it's see-through, so you don't want to see the black wire frame behind it, and also it's going to be a lot easier to cover with this poster board on there. So I'm just gonna, like I said, hot glue it and then add tape over the top of that, and this is gonna make it really secure, but then we're also putting fabric around it, so this is not going anywhere. And then I grabbed this tea towel from Dollar Tree. So cute. At first I was like, I don't know what I can do with this. And then it fit absolutely perfectly. Right here I'm showing you on the poster board, you want to make sure that you have space at the bottom of the hat, because that's where we're going to put those mesh clumps. Clumps isn't a good word. Together. So I'm going to go ahead and glue the bottom down, and then I'm just going to cut around the excess fabric and glue it around the top of this wreath form. Okay, now it's time to add the bundles, not the clumps, but the bundles. I thought of the word, onto the wreath form. Now you can make this as full as you want. I used about 1.5 of the rolls. I'm not all 2 full rolls. So if you used all two full rolls, that's hard to say, then you can make this even a little bit fuller. So just go ahead and add as many bundles as you like to the bottom here. You could add a bow to the tip if you like. I found these also at Dollar Tree, and I just thought they were so cute to add to the top there. And so I'm just going to slide it down in there, and then using some more of the pipe cleaners, I will add that around them just to keep that in place. You could also glue them in place as well. And that is it for this candy corn witch hat wreath form. Oh, it is so bright and fun. Okay, like I said, I have a ton of stuff. This isn't even all of it, but I kind of threw a pile together of stuff I thought I might be able to like group. All right, so this first project, I'm taking a tomato cage. I put a rubber band around the top, and then I use these lights and wrapped them around. You can see I used some painter's tape just to hold them in place. These lights are like 10 years old. They were in my oldest daughter's room a long time ago. And then I'm taking the creepy cloth from Dollar Tree, and I'm just draping it along. I used 5 packages, and so in the end it's not see-through once you get all 5 on there. Okay, and then I'm taking some of the chains, also from Dollar Tree, and I kind of hook them up here. The reason you're going to want to use creepy cloth is because you can, it's got holes in it, so it's easy to attach things. I just used my stapler and stapled some chenille stems onto the back of those skulls and added those down. Then I took some of that garland and put it on top, and I'm just putting all sorts of stuff on here. You can just use whatever you have, use your creativity, whatever you want. And then I add these spiders also from Dollar Tree onto this. And then I topped it off with a witch's hat, also from Dollar Tree. And this is what it looks like at night in the dark. It's so cute. I just absolutely love the way this turned out. And then I will also show it to you here in the daylight. This is such a quick project. You're going to take this candle stand from Dollar Tree, and then you're just going to glue this basket also from Dollar Tree to the top. I use some black E6000. You can use some black glue as well, hot glue as well. And then I just clip these spiders on, and now I have the cutest candy dish or whatever you want to use it for. Super, super easy. These are both clearance items from Joann's. I probably paid, let's see, $1.50. So I probably paid $3 for that. And then this raven or crow, whatever you want to call it, in the cage here, it was normally $5. So I probably paid $1 for it. Because usually after season, Joann's is usually about 80% off. And then using some Dixie Belle mineral chalk paint in caviar, I went ahead and painted the whole frame of this in black. This is a new paint for me using, and I absolutely love it. It went on very silky and dried really quick. And then I just went to Cricut Design Space. I searched Raven, and this popped up, which was absolutely perfect for this project. And I just put this down at the bottom and glue that cage above it, and this sign looks so high-end. It looks like I bought it at the store. Definitely one of my favorites. And let's see, I made it for, what did I say, $3 and $4. So I made this sign for about $4 plus paint and vinyl. I mean, that is really inexpensive. And again, I just love the way it turns out. And I'm really trying to use wood glue more because that is really going to give you the kind of adherence you want. Also, here is some ideas for items from Dollar Tree. So I painted this one black. You could put it down on this canvas. You could do some sort of saying this is like spider venom. These are some other wood signs from Dollar Tree. You could put a saying down at the bottom. This Happy Halloween. You can see, I just feel like it looks better when it's down on a sign than just like hanging by itself. This is one of my favorite projects. So again, from Joann's, I got these stems, and then I got these skulls from Michael's. I believe they're $4.99, and I got them 40% off. And this ribbon is from Dollar General. I believe I got it for 20 cents, 40 cents last year. And then this white, like frame, I guess, is from Michael's as well, and it was on clearance in their spring stuff, and I spray painted it black, and I knew right away it was going to look like a moon, and so that is why I purchased it. And so I'm just going to cut these stems off. Now, if you really want to budget this, you can spray paint some eucalyptus from Dollar Tree all black as well. So I'm just going to arrange these how I like, and then I am going to zip tie them down. Now I really love these skulls. I wish I would have put that lower one a little bit higher, but you know, hindsight. So if you recreate this, you might want to do that. Okay, so again, like I said, I am just going to zip tie these all down and then add those skulls. If you have a Dollar General in your area, I tell you, you've got to go check it out because their items are still a dollar. And so you can save yourself. And a lot of times they have the exact same items as Dollar Tree, like the chain, the big skulls. A lot of it is the same. And again, you're going to save yourself some money. And then after the holiday, they are always on clearance. And I get some really cute ribbons that way. So I just made a very simple bow there, and then I'm adding that last stem at the bottom just to kind of cover up all my sticks and everything there. And then I'm going to add another bow here. I just thought, oh, let's add a little bit more. I make it a little bit smaller, but isn't that ribbon gorgeous? It's worth $2 even if you buy it full retail price. They also have the cutest decor. I can't tell you. I got this picture, like a canvas picture, and it's large. It was $12 and it has a skull or a skeleton like doing a peace sign. It's so cute. I love their decor. So I really hope you have a Dollar General in your area because you can get some of the cutest stuff. This is pretty much it for this project. I just absolutely love how it looks. It looks so good on my shelf here. I'm going to grab this sign from Dollar Tree and I'm going to paint the inside this violet color from Anita's, and then I'm going to paint the trim in black. Okay, then I'm going to grab some window clings here. Now, I can't remember if these are Dollar Tree. They may be Dollar General. And then I cut out 3 of them that I liked. There were so many cute ones. And I do not peel them off the back. I want them to have kind of that heavy paper behind them. I love cutting out things like this while I'm watching TV. Okay, so I'm just going to take these 3 guys. Look how cute they are. And I'm just going to use some 3D foam tape to put down in the middle because they do overlap on the edges there. And then add some double stick my tape runner here to add down where it's going to hit those edges, and that's it. Another super simple project. I love this one. I love the color of that violet. That's one of my favorite Halloween colors. And again, I just think these 3 wizards are too cute. Okay, here is another project where I'm going to use as many things as I can from my stash. And it's all, I think it may all be Dollar Tree except for some of the ribbon. So I'm just cutting off a small piece right here, and if it's freaking you out that I'm cutting towards my hand, just know I'm using a slice tool where it is not metal blade, so while it cuts well, it doesn't cut you. Okay, so the reason I did that is just so that pool noodle can sit flat. So what are we making? We are making a centerpiece for your table, or you can put it along your mantle, whichever you like. So I just started cutting ribbon in 8-inch sections, or pieces, I should say, and then dovetailing them. So for each one of these, I usually use about 3 different ribbons, and then I kind of crisscross them. In this case here, I think am I using 4? Anyhow, but I'm just using up some of my ribbons. Again, I love ribbon. I love ribbon and I love pattern paper. I have way too much of both. So I'm just going to use a half of a pipe cleaner there, and then I'm just gonna spread this out, make it look nice. I'm gonna cut down that pipe cleaner, and then your absolute friend in this project is going to be those floral pins, and you can get them from Dollar Tree. I ran out of them for this project, and I happened to be by Michael's, so I went into Michael's and got them, and they were $2 on Michael's, so it's not like it's extra expensive if you don't go to Dollar Tree. And then you could see there I was just adding one of their ornaments from Dollar Tree down, and this is how I got these skulls is I just stapled down one of those pins and then also added hot glue. Again, another mesh that I got from Dollar General on clearance last year. I will use that as filler towards the end. And of course, these are little pumpkins from Dollar Tree, and they already have kind of a hard stem there that just pokes right in. And see, I just add the little skull guy, and then I put ornaments under both its chin and back of its head, and this will keep it sitting upright. And now, because I made this more as a centerpiece as opposed to a mantelpiece, I have the skulls going both directions. So no matter where you're sitting at the table, you'll be able to see it. So here's the fun part. Now I'm just filling in the space. I put those 3 skulls down, and then I'm just going to do a bunch of different ribbons and put them down. You don't even have to put a pipe cleaner around them. You can just go straight down with the pins if you want. What's some other things I use? So I used the mini ornaments. I used regular ornaments, those little stems from the pumpkins, and I'm just putting these down wherever. Oh, and I had the little silvery glitter skull heads, and I just poked toothpicks in them because they're styrofoam, so I poked those in, so that made them easy to stick down into the pool noodle. And that's it. I just keep going with all the different things, poking it in wherever I feel like it might need it. And then to get any kind of edges, especially down below, like the bottom part, I use that mesh to just fill in that spot. So I just keep doing that. I didn't show you the entire thing because I think you get the point, but this was such a fun way to use up items that I have left over and have no particular reason, idea that I was going to use them for. So fun fact, why was I wanting to use up as much supplies as I possibly could? And that is because I plan to move from the West Coast to the East Coast next year. And so I really am paring down as much as I can. I really want to move with as little as possible. So I was like, how can I don't want to just give this away or get rid of it. So how can I make something and just use as much as I have? So stay tuned. I may be doing some destashing. I will post it on the community page if I am, but as well, follow me over on Instagram where my name is $__mom, because I will be updating a little bit more over there. And this is how it turned out. I feel like this just doesn't do it justice. It is so much fun. I realize this is a little bit dark because I was trying to get it in good light. But anyhow, I think it's so fun and it's not scary. It's very fun. Even with skulls, it's very cutesy and it's so cute for my kitchen table, and nothing's glued down. So you could take things off of this, make it shorter, add to it, whatever you like. Greeting cards can be a pretty cool decoration. Like, look how cute this card is. It is 3D, it has glitter, it has a scalloped edge. You can put these in frames, but I could not believe how perfect it fit on this little block sign from Dollar Tree. And yes, this card is also from Dollar Tree. And so I'm just going to cut off the back side of this, and I'm not even sure how it could have been more perfect that it fits exactly, exactly on that board. And then you can kind of see the black through the scalloped parts. Now, because this particular card has like paper behind it, that's where you're getting some of that pattern. So I'm just going to take my double stick tape runner and set that back piece down. Most of the time your card fronts are just going to be a card front and you won't have this step. And then I just glue it onto that block sign, and that's it. And it stands up on its own. It's so cute. I mean, this card is the cutest. I've done this for other holidays. Sometimes you can cut pieces out of the card, but definitely check out the seasonal cards next time you're in Dollar Tree. I grabbed this velvet skull from Dollar Tree, as well as these velvet pumpkins from Dollar General. When I bought them at the beginning of the season, I didn't know exactly what I would use them for, but they were too beautiful not to buy. So I've come up with this very easy DIY. I'm just going to stack them on top of each other, and then I just felt like my skull needed a little something extra. So I grabbed these rhinestones out of my stash of scrapbook stuff. You can get these in the scrapbook section, card baking section of your craft store. And my camera was full and turned off, so I missed the filming part of putting those rhinestones on. But they're just stickers, and I know that you can put them on however you like. So for the middle pumpkin here, I do have to take the stem off of it, and then just using one skewer here, I'm just going to press it right through. Everything here we're working with is styrofoam, and I just cut that stick down to size and stack all these together, and that's it. A super quick and easy DIY, but with a velvet look, it looks so high-end. I had two of these wreath forms left and this fabric from Dollar Tree. Now this is a full piece of fabric from Dollar Tree, and it just barely fits. So we are going to clip this down and make it, easier for it to stay. And then I'm going to add the other wreath form on top of it. So we're sandwiching this fabric with two of these wreath forms. And then after I do that, I'm going to go ahead and flip it over and then just start hot gluing that fabric to the form. Okay, now I'm going to secure the two wreath forms together. Now you want to use black zip ties if at all possible because they're kind of undetected once you cut them down. Now at first here it's going to look like, oh, it's popping off and everything, but that is why you want to use these zip ties to get it nice and sturdy. Okay, if you saw my last video, I made a bow very similar to this. So I cut 18-inch strips, 3 different designs, and I cut 2 of each. I fold them in half and dovetail, and then here at the 3.5-inch mark, I pinch it, and then I'm going to put it in between my thumb and finger, and then I'm going to go ahead and do that with each one of the ribbons, and you just keep stacking them on top of each other. And then you'll see that stem there, or chenille stem, I guess it's not chenille because it is glittery, pipe cleaner off to the side, so you can get those in the Halloween section. And I will put that around the middle, right where I've pinched everything, and then I'm just going to fluff this out. So you're going to fluff the tails out flat, and then you're going to fluff your ribbon part. I'm trying to think of the top part, the bow part. And then I will, this is going to go on top of our pumpkin. Now in hindsight, I probably would have made the tails longer. I wasn't, again, this is an evolving project. I wasn't exactly sure where I was going to go with it. So I did, I made shorter tails, which it looks fine, but I probably would make longer tails. I have this little sign in my stash. It's normally a 2-pack, but I'm going to use that one. And then these stems also from Dollar Tree. I'm going to add them to the top here. They're going to kind of be like, well, I guess, I mean, they're not really like leaves, but your little curlicues. And I will add those to it. I will add the little sign and the bow, and then this project's complete. You can see those little pumpkins off to the side. I thought those were really cute too. There's so much you can add. I feel like this would be really fun just to kind of go over the top with just different items. I only had those 3 little pumpkins, and I wasn't quite sure how I could fit them in with the big bow, but there's, again, lots of options. And again, I also recommend the black zip ties to zip tie everything down. Everything will be nice and sturdy. I just couldn't stop making projects, and I unfortunately didn't fully finish this project, but I still wanted to show you how far I got so that you could get an idea. So I'm just poking with some scissors, some holes here in these Dollar Tree skulls, and then if you pinch it like that, you can just feed a zip tie right through, as you see here, and then you can just pop it back to make it, you know, back to the way it was. So I'm going to do that on all of those skulls. And then I'm going to take a broom handle from Dollar Tree as well, and I'm just going to zip tie them on. I use those bones also from Dollar Tree. You can see I have just zip tied them all along this. And then I'm going to grab myself a pot also from Dollar Tree. And I'm adding one of these hands from Dollar Tree as well. And I'm going to use my E6000 as well as hot glue to get that instant adherence. Now I chose to leave this overnight before I spray painted it. So that I know that was staying on there. So the reason I didn't kind of get as far as I wanted is because then the next day it was crazy windy, and that's not good for spray painting. So I had to wait until almost nighttime to do it, and so I didn't really get to totally finish. But anyhow, I'm going to take a little bit of a pool noodle here and glue that down to the center of this, and then fill it with as much rocks as I can to give this weight so it doesn't fall down. And then I'm going to put that broom handle down into the pool noodle here, and so that will keep it nice and centered and hopefully not falling over. But I can tell you it has been 24 hours since I have put the broomstick down in there with everything on it, and it has stood up and not fallen over, so yay. And then I take this out and I spray paint it black, and this is how it turned out. There's so much more you could possibly add. I probably would have gone back to Dollar Tree and bought some more skulls and made it go all the way down. And then I also would probably put something down in the base as well to, you know, cover the rocks, and this is something you could put lights around as well, but I still think it was a really good start and I wanted to share it with you. Okay, so if you want to go more of a rustic route, maybe you don't want such bright, you know, candy corn decor, you can do something like this. So this little pumpkin sign from Dollar Tree is so cute on its own, but we're just going to upgrade it here. So I'm just taking some pattern paper and just marking it where each section, boy, my words, are, and then I'm just going to cut this down. So I'm going to use the yellow and then some orange paper and then some white paper, and just use some Mod Podge to adhere it down. I took off that buffalo check ribbon at the top and added my own pumpkin ribbon to the top, and then this project's complete. You could also put some brown paint or brown ink around the edges of the papers too, and that would age it even more. And then was an easy peasy project. You could do this with Halloween paper, you could do it with fall paper. It really has so many options. Okay, I could just die for these Halloween gnomes. So you've got the two ornament ones, and then you've got the picks here. And so I'm going to get them all ready here. Now, the Pick ones are just styrofoam, so pulling the sticks out worked really easily. And then I'm going to line them all up because what we're going to do is we're going to make a garland. And using some of this twine that I got at Dollar General, I'm going to go ahead and put them onto this string here. Now, I have no idea if I didn't hit record or the footage just like went away, but it's gone. So I just put put this through the needle, and I added a black bead every so often, and I know that you can figure out how to sew them onto there. I just really pulled the needle through, and this is so cute. I've seen uh, gnome garland at Michael's, and it's $20. This Dollar Tree charger is so nice. It's nice and thick, and it definitely screamed Halloween to me. So it's about 13 inches around, and then I measured into the middle there, and then I went over to Cricut Design Space, and I typed in candy corn, and this came up, and I shrunk it down to size to make it fit right in the middle there. Now, do you ever learn like a tip, like, oh, this will make it so much easier, and then you forget the tip, and then midway through you're like, oh, that's right, there's a good hack for this. So first of all, I should have layered it first. I think if I had layered it first before sticking it down, that would have been easier, or at least I'm not sure. But anyhow, another trick too is to add parchment paper to the top, underneath, so that you can position it a little bit easier. Now, this white vinyl I'm using, I believe it's Oracle, and I have such a hard time with it. I really do like the HTV Rot better, which is what I used for this orange. I decided that it's easier to cut it into 3 pieces. It was way easier to layer it that way, and so I'm just eyeballing it. But again, that parchment paper hack would have been so much easier. If I can find that hack for you, I'll link it in the description. Again, I struggle with some of these layering things just because it's not something I do very often, and when I peel up the contact paper, it just seems like the pieces still want to come up with it, and I keep trying different contact paper. And then I don't know. Okay, so this ribbon from Dollar Tree, I thought it was solid, but it's not. It's this gorgeous meshy like glitter. I love it. I am really trying to use up stuff in my stash because I have way too much stuff. So I didn't buy any ribbon. So that yellow is kind of different, but I was like, I'm going to use stuff in my stash. And then I grabbed 2 of these picks from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to add them there to the bottom, and then I'm going to make kind of a crisscross bow down at the bottom, and then this project's complete. Whenever I hang these types of signs, I just put a command strip on the back, and it makes them hang perfectly, but you could also make a hanger for it by putting some ribbon behind as well. this little box sign from Dollar Tree and I spray painted it black. And then using these two, gosh, I don't know what arches from Dollar Tree as well. I'm going to go ahead and glue them to the sign here. I'm going to use some black E6000 as well as some hot glue and glue those to this box. This was a fun project because I didn't know where it was going. It was just, let's just do this and then add some of this, and so you'll kind of see it evolve on screen because yeah, I love projects like this where I kind of have an idea but really I don't. So like I said, I'm just gluing these two sides together, and then it's a matter of filling our little box there. Okay, I'm just going to add a little piece of glue right here to keep those arches together. Okay, I grabbed that motion detection of skulls from Dollar Tree. It lights up as well. And then I'm adding some of the creepy cloth here from Dollar Tree into my little sign here, sign box. And then I'm going to decorate with these bats that this clip on. I'm clipping on two onto the arches and one right here on the front. And then you can cover the little clip with the spooky cloth, just like cover that. Also, I'm sorry I'm filming up and down. I didn't realize that, but I think you can see it okay. So then it was like, okay, what else can I do to this? And so then I grabbed some of the chains from Dollar Tree and cut it down. Those chains from Dollar Tree are really cool to add to any decor. So I just put that behind it. Now I decide, okay, let's put some lights on this. I got to take the skulls and the chains out, and I grabbed this little light thing from Dollar Tree as well, and I'm just going to set the box behind it. Now if you wanted to like glue this, a double stick tape, whatever, to the back, you could do that as well. And then I'm just going to string these lights through, and then that completes this project. Okay, I picked up this tin from the Dollar Tree and added some floral foam to it. And then I have these cute candy corn pumpkins also from Dollar Tree. And then the stems in the background, I don't believe they're from Dollar Tree. I think they're from the 99-cent store, but I know Dollar Tree has something similar. And then I had these candy corn stickers in my stash, but there's something you could probably pick up at any craft store, or you could make them on your Cricut as well. So I'm just going to put these along the side of our little cute pumpkin tin, and then all I have to do now is just add the stems to this, and then this, oh, I absolutely adore this bouquet. It's just so bright and fun and cute. So now it's just time to cut the stems down to fit in there like I like, and then I'm going to go over into my stash because I found some more of those orangey leaves from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to add them in just to be filler so you can't see you know, the green foam or inside of the tin, and then just finish the bouquet like that. And then I had one more of these little candy corn picks left, so I'm going to add that right down into the center. And then from the wreath project, I had some of that tea towel left, and so I'm going to cut some strips of that and then tie it to the handle of the pail. You could add a bow if that's what you'd like, but since I had that material, I thought that would be really cute. So again, I am just going to make strips out of this and then just add it by tying it in just one knot around the pail handle. Okay, this is just a simple project of taking one of these styrofoam cones from Dollar Tree and just adding yarn. So just going to add a little bit of glue around the bottom part, and then I just start winding. It's probably a good idea to use glue every so often just to keep it in place. Now I didn't have white yarn, which amazes me. I did have white yarn, I should say, but it was like big fluffy yarn. And so I'm just using kind of an off-white one that I had in my stash. Again, I'm really trying to use up my stash. If you watched my craft room tour, I have a ridiculous amount of stuff, and it's just time to stop buying new stuff and using stuff I have. Of course, I still buy new stuff because a lot of this candy corn stuff is new this year, and I was just like, I have to buy it. Okay, so just again, you're going to wrap it around. I think it's pretty self-explanatory, and then once I go up about a third, I change it over to the orange, and then another third and change it over to the white. So these would be really cute if you made a couple of them, that if you did different sizes and use them kind of in the background of your decor. That would be really cute too. So we're just going to kind of make a little tag here. I'm using one of these little Dollar Tree pumpkins and a little wood piece that I had in my stash. I know Dollar Tree sells these now. I'm not sure if they have a hole in them or not, but this one does. And then just using some of the raffia from Dollar Tree, I'm going to add that to it. And then I didn't make the raffia that I threaded through this long enough, so I just end up gluing it down instead of tying it down. And then off to the right there, you see that raffia bow. Those are on so many of their fall decor pieces, and I usually take them off because I'm taking that project in another direction. And so I keep them, and I find myself reusing them all the time. So definitely don't throw those away. You'll probably use them. And then that's it for this project. I'm going to paint this wicked sign from Dollar Tree. I'm using pumpkin, hazelnut, maize, and black chalk paint. I like chalk paint. It dries the quickest and it just covers the best. So I'm just going to go ahead and color these just regular colors that you would normally see on a sign like this. And while that's drying, I'm going to use some of this spray adhesive and some of this creepy cloth from Dollar Tree. Both of them are from Dollar Tree. And then I just have this piece of wood. It's just kind of like a thin piece of wood left over from some other thrift store thing I had purchased. But you could use any big square sign from Dollar Tree or whatever you have on hand. And I'm just going to kind of lay this cloth out until I like how it drapes. And then I'm just going to spray the adhesive underneath it, and it sticks great. And now I'm using this little chalkboard sign that I picked up from Michael's. Again, you can just use a sign from Dollar Tree and paint it black if you like. I just had this on hand. I need to get it used up. Because this is going to be, it's a little heavier and going to be on this sign, I'm going to use some E6000 to give it that really good hold. And then to give it the immediate hold, I will also use some hot glue. And now that the wicked sign has dried, I'm going to go ahead and attach that to the front. And because it's lightweight, I'll just use the hot glue to tack that down. Okay, here comes the fun part. I grabbed these glitter glues off of Amazon. They come in a 3-pack, gold, silver, and this black glitter. I just have this little piece of web design wood piece that I had picked up, and I'm just using it for reference here. But I'm just going to take the glue and I'm going to make lines straight down, just kind of like rays of sun. And so I think I make 5 lines down. And then I'm going to make half circles between each of the lines to form the web. And this will make a glitter web that looks so awesome, especially in this black glitter. I love it. I use it again on another project in this video. And then I'll make another one down in the bottom corner. course, our sign needs a bow. And if I go a little quick here, let me reference down below. I did make a bow video for you guys. A lot of times you're asking me how to make bows, and so I have made a tutorial and I will link it below. But this one is just one of my easy ones where I just make a loop, twist the center, and then I'm going to add the tails on by just gluing them to the back of the bow. So I just felt like the witch's hat was getting lost on the black surface. So I'm just going to do like a white stitching around the hat to make it pop out. And I used this white pen that I got off Amazon. It's amazing. So I will link that down below as well. For this project, you'll need this tray from Dollar Tree, the pack of 4 little skull caddies. I don't know what you would call them. The little, pails. That doesn't sound right either. Anyhow, I am going to dry brush some white over this plastic tray here so you can reveal the spider web and stuff that you can indentation. Man, can I remember my words today? Indentation that's on there. Now I get a little bit too much paint on the one part up there. I really wanted it to be a little bit more dry brushed. So no problem. I just went back with a wet wipe and wiped it down and then painted it. But I almost looking back now like the way it looked when I wiped it off. Then the white kind of only stayed. And you could see them better. You see the spiders much better. So either way that you like it, I was kind of going for like a creepy, rustic-y look, but I think that looks good too. And then go through your paper stash. If you don't have any scrapbook paper, you can use a gift bag, wrapping paper, or you can just leave the main part of the tray blank, but I went ahead and grabbed a piece of spidery scrapbook paper for the center. Okay, and then using these little skulls, I'm going to pop off the handle there, and then using my markers that I got from Arctics, they are paint pens, but they have the brush tip and you don't have to shake them or like, press them down to get the ink to come. And once they're on there, they're permanent and waterproof. So I really like these for that fine tip. Some of my other paint markers, it's the paint's coming out of those. This is a little bit more control like a pen. So I really like those. And this set comes in 30 colors. And I will link those down below as well as a 15% off discount code that I have for you. So I'm just taking the black there and sprucing up my skeleton some by outlining the eyes, nose, and mouth. And this will just make the skull pop more. Now I'm going to just take the scrapbook paper here and put it down to size. I kind of played around with some different ones. I went with these glittery bats going in a circle. And then I will Mod Podge that down and Mod Podge all over the paint as well, the whole tray. And then I just glue on those skeletons, and now I have a fun Halloween tray that you could use for food, you could use it for decor, whatever you find a creative use for. Throughout the year, when I find cool bottles, I set them aside because I know I'm going to make potion bottles at Halloween time. This one right here is a really cool bottle. These are, I think they're called On the Rocks, and they're like pre-made cocktails, and they're really good. I got mine at Rite Aid. So if you want that bottle and a good drink, there you go. And then I'm going to take some of this I don't know what they call this. It's because it's not spiderweb. It's just like a throw they have at the Dollar Tree. And I'm just going to cut up a little bit of it, and then I'm going to Mod Podge it down onto the bottle. And I'm going to do that, and then I'm also going to add some torn pieces of paper towel. And we're just going to, this is just adding texture, and it's like this old bottle, because when I get all the textures down on it that I want, I'm going to take it outside, and I'm going to spray paint it with matte black spray paint. Once I finish both bottles, I'm going to move on to these books here, also from Dollar Tree. Now, these aren't the boxed ones. The boxed ones are a little more boxy, like they're more of like a square, where I feel like these ones look more like books. So using some of their little felt letters there, I am going to write magic on one book and spells on the other. And then once I get that down, so this book right here is going to be my top book, and I really liked the design that was on the top of it, but I am going to spray paint these black. So I thought I'm going to take my glue gun and I'm going to trace what's on the top of this. So I use my black glue gun, glue, but you could just use your regular glue gun. It doesn't matter because you're going to spray paint it black. I will say though, it does make for easier coverage if you do use black glue, but again, not necessary. So you see here, I'm just going around and I noticed that the black glue was way more stringier and like stickier, but anyhow, I just go ahead and I go around the edges here, and I do go back with my this glue gun too, and I glue around some of those bottles as well. And then I just take them out and I spray paint them. And once those are dry from the spray paint, I'm going to use some metallic copper paint from Waverly, and I'm just going to brush it across the parts that I used the hot glue, and then again over where I did the letters. Now I'm not going to do a whole lot to the second book because they are going to stack. And I'm kind of playing around here with how it looks, so I just take a little sponge here and I'm kind of sponging it out, give it kind of that antique-y look. Of course, you can use gold paint, silver paint, whichever you like. I'm loving this metallic copper. I've used it on a lot of fall projects, so I do recommend it. Again, it's from Waverly. And I'm just going to take, again, my paintbrush and I'm kind of just winging it here, but I do love the way these turned out. I don't think this does it justice. They look much better in person. And then with the bottles, they really pop using them together in the decor. I'm going to take one of these witch hats from Dollar Tree and I am going to rip this tinsel off. It is on there really good. I really had to cut it up. Now you can set it aside and use it for another project. I have like a bag full of tinsel that I've ripped off projects that I have yet to use, but you never know. You don't want to throw it away. And then I'm going to grab some of the creepy cloth from Dollar Tree as well. And thank you to my viewers there for telling me it was creepy cloth. That makes sense. I didn't know what to call it in the last video. But I'm going to cover it in creepy cloth instead. So this is going to make a higher end looking witch's hat. So at first there, I drape over 2 layers of this and it's too thin. So I go ahead and flip that over. So now there's like 4 layers of this going. Now, in hindsight, right here, I would have put a rubber band, but I didn't. So do that first. But I'm using some of this cool ribbon from Dollar Tree. I believe this one is spiders, I think. This ribbon is so cool. It comes in like 5 different shapes. But I'm just gluing it around the base of the hat, and that's kind of like that belt that goes around the witch's hat. Again, this is why you see that had I used a rubber band, it would hold tighter and hold the shape a little better. I just dumped the hat upside down in a little vase there or a cup. That's just going to make it easier for me to have a flat surface to glue all this down. So I'm just gluing it, gluing it, cutting it. Doesn't matter. You're not going to see this part. Plus, this is kind of supposed to look kind of like an old rustic witch's hat, so no big deal. And now it's time to embellish the hat. I went ahead and clipped the stem off of this. This comes in a 4-pack. You get 2 with purple berries, and then you get 2 with silver berries. So pretty good deal. I'm going to go ahead and attach that. And then some more ribbon here from Dollar Tree. This is a Spiderweb ribbon that I'm going to just do a very simple bow on and glue that to the hat as well. It still needed something, so I'm using one of these foam roses from Dollar Tree. I really like these. You get quite a few in a pack. You can see it also has orange, white, and black. So that's a fun find. I'm glad I got those because I have used a couple of them so far. And that's it. Look how cute this witch hat is. Much better than that tinsel looking hat. I don't think a Halloween video would be complete without a wreath, and I'm loving this welcome sign from Dollar Tree. And this is also one of their bigger wreath forms. I don't see the bigger ones that often, but it's the 18-inch. And I'm just going to hot glue it here onto the back, and then I'm going to take some Gorilla Tape and also tape that over. I have a hard time with wreaths and only using hot glue because I live in a very hot climate and then will fall apart. Even in October, it's still hot. So I'm just going to use, again, some of this Gorilla Tape to adhere this on nice and good. So then I am definitely winging this wreath. I didn't really know exactly where I wanted it to go. I just knew I had so many cool elements. So I cut the stems apart of these black roses, and they also come with these little silver skulls that are also on a stem. And I'm just going to start putting those around. Now, I use chenille stems, pipe cleaners, whatever you want to call them, and I just use I cut them down actually into quarters to adhere them on. I personally like zip ties much better. I just feel like they're stronger and they're easier to use. I didn't have many black ones left, so you will see me use a couple here because the stems kind of want to slip around. So I use the zip ties on the stems, but then on like this stuff, the mesh, I use the chenille stems. So first I'm just trying, again, I could tell you I'm winging it. I just kind of scrunch it and put it on there. I want it to have that kind of puffy like look, but I didn't like it. I did two of them and then I decided, no, I don't like that look. I go back to just the old fashioned roll them up way. And so, you know, I didn't take them out. It doesn't matter. They're all going in there anyway. So you'll see me do the regular mesh technique here in a minute. But that mesh is fantastic. It is so gorgeous with the glittery spider webs. I will say this was the most glittery mess of any project I've ever made. It's very, very, very glittery. So be forewarned. Keep your little desk vac handy and vacuum as you go. So this is the other stem I was telling you about that was also in with those black roses. And I just love it. Okay, so here you see me. I'm going to roll it up. I'm going to do it in twos. Normally when I'm making a mesh wreath, I do it in threes. But for this one, I just take two at a time. And then with a little chenille stem, I just wire it down right onto the wreath. So it's pretty much just these elements. It's going to be the black roses stem, this mesh, and then there was a little bit of these little, what do they call them, pit berries? I only had a couple, so I'm kind of bummed I didn't have more. Uh, if I was buying all this knowing ahead of time what I was going to make, I would have bought some more of those, the berries you see right there in my hand, because I really like those. Now, I also kept this just black and silver, but after I finished it, I think it would have looked really cool if there was some more purple in it, because the sign does have purple. But I'm really trying to go for those like black and white vibes this year, just that like classic vintagey, you know, if there's gonna be orange, it's gonna be like deep and rusty, you know, not like bright and happy. I'm just going for that vibe this year. I love this. This, I don't even know what you would call it, but this is also from Dollar Tree. I guess it's a garland is what you would call it. And at this point I decide, this stuff's really cool, how am I going to use it? And so I stop what I'm doing and I go ahead and I tie this down. You don't necessarily see it a whole lot, but it's really cool and I was like, I want to use it. So you see it a little bit. I use it kind of, you know, as you can tell on the bottom, and then I'll go over the top of it and you'll see some of it peek out, but I'm going to just tie it down with the little chenille stems. Again, I just have little tiny pieces of it, so that you don't see too much of it. And then once I get that down, I'm just going to repeat what I did there in the beginning in that bottom left corner. I'm just going to repeat that all the way around. So basically I do like a black rose, and then I do two sections of the mesh, and then I do the little skull stem, and then two more things of the mesh, and then the black rose, mesh, skull, mesh. And I just do that all the way around. I don't make you watch the whole thing because you've seen me do one section and I just repeat that section. And this was a quick wreath. Again, the worst part was all the glitter that comes off. And the funny part is it doesn't really scream glitter when it's done. It's just the stuff, the glitter that fell off of stuff is what made quite the mess. If you don't have one of those little desk vacuums, I highly recommend it, the little ladybug vac. I'll have it linked in the description. It's $10. I use it so much. It's great for when you're sanding and you can just vacuum it right up. It's great for glitter. It actually sucks up the glitter. So an amazing $10 purchase that you must purchase. I think it's a crafting necessity. And this is the finished product. Again, just grab whatever you can find at Dollar Tree that's silver and black and then just intertwine it all. I just think this looks so great. It's, you know, it's that vintagey kind of fun look and not too like cutesy. Okay, this is another fun and easy project. I'm taking an empty roll from ribbon from Dollar Tree. This, I think they say cloche. I don't know how to pronounce it, but you know what this is, a dome thing. And some of these purple Halloween ribbons and a plastic skull from Dollar Tree. Now, if I'm saying it again, cloche dome thing was from the 99-cent store for $2.49. So I'm going to just take apart the flowers. The first stems I actually cut, and then I realized it's actually easier just to pull the flowers off because I don't really need them to have any kind of stems. So then I'm going to take this ribbon roll, and what it's going to do is it's going to give us height for our skull. So I'm just going to glue it down to the center, and then I'm just going to start taking the flowers and decorating around it, just using my hot glue, randomly placing them around. And then I'm going to add the skull head to the top of this, and then just fill in where is needed, where there's holes with flowers and leaves. And then I'm just going to put the dome on, and this project is complete. I've had this black ball in my stash for a while now from Dollar Tree. It's just supposed to be like table decor. And I saw these bat wings at Dollar Tree. It's actually a dog costume, so I think you should see it on my dog before we go any further. She's a good sport, but definitely was not a fan. So we'll use it on this project instead. So I just cut the elastic off of it. I'm leaving the wings as is. This is going to be a simple project, but I think it turned out so cute. So using my white paint pen here, I'm just going to draw on its smile with fangs and some little eyes. And then I'm going to glue those wings right onto the back of this ball here. And what I like about this ball is it does have the flat bottom, so it'll sit flat and easy. And then I'm going to go and I'm going to grab some black felt, and just cut little triangles and glue those on for ears. So easy peasy, would be a fun project for a kid to make, but I really love how it turned out. And now with these triangles, I'm gonna go ahead and put a little dot of glue right in the center and then pinch it. Now I realized I had this black piece of felt and it was over the black ball, and so you couldn't see what I'm doing. So on the second ear there, you'll be able to see it. So hold tight here on the second ear. I'll do it over the white surface so you can tell what I'm doing. But again, you're just pinching that little center out. Um, to give it, you know, his ears a little dimension, and then just putting some glue along the bottom. Now, in my last video, I used black hot glue, which I totally recommend. Get like one of those super cheap glue guns and use it for colored glue. It really helps. So something like this, it won't show. I didn't have it in my gun yet, but that would work well. Also, my E6000 is also black. Don't blink, this goes by quick. This little sign here is from Michael's, as well as these words. Again, like the last project, it was $1.80 for these 2 words, and I just painted them in black chalk paint and then glued them down to this sign. That's it. I just love the simplicity of it. It's not overly done. It's one of those less is more, and it really stands out, and I absolutely love it. Super, super, super easy. On this project, I was inspired by both Olivia over at Olivia's Romantic Home and The Handmaid's Tale 711, I think it's her name, over on Instagram, but I will link them both below. But they both did really cute hats like this, and I wanted to make my own. So I start out just by stuffing this witch hat from Dollar Tree with some Dollar Tree shopping bags. And then I'm going to take this stove cover and just paint it black with black chalk paint, and this is just going to be my base so that it is nice and sturdy. This is a bunch of stuff I picked up at Dollar Tree, ribbons and spiders and flowers and lights and whatever I could find that was black and purple. And that's what I'm going to use to decorate the witch's hat. This actually turned out to be one of my favorite Halloween crafts that I made, so I'm thankful to those two who made very different ones. So this was my take on it, but they definitely inspired me, just like I'm trying to do too, to inspire you to make it yours. So I go ahead and I just hot glue this down to the cover. I didn't catch that on film, but that's just what I gotta do, and then I'll make it nice and sturdy. Okay, so I've sped this up because I'm a slow crafter. I like to just enjoy the process and just kind of sit and create. So I'm speeding this up because I can be really slow. But anyhow, I'm just going to kind of cut apart the pieces, and I'm just going to start by gluing down some of these roses and just kind of decorating. I just kind of go, you know, just what do I think is going to look good for the next thing. So I'm going to glue down a couple of these roses, and then I thought, you know what would be cool is these lights. I picked up these lights from Dollar Tree. They have little ghosts on them, and I never know exactly what to use these for, and then I was like, this is going to be so neat. I can light up this hat. So I glue down the box, which I did put a battery in first, but I glued down the bottom that it doesn't matter, so I can actually still change the battery out. And then I'm going to glue the roses and things around the box, but keep the little power on and off button so that I can easily just turn it on and off. So that's how I did that. So I'm going to go ahead and just, like I said, just adding flowers, adding these glittery stems, and just keep going around this hat. and I just kind of want to make it a little bit over the top. And then I'm just going to feed these lights here and there. Just keep going, so just keep a watch out, and I'm pretty sure you get the gist. And as you watch, I just want to say I actually made so many projects. I just really love Halloween. I haven't been able to decorate for Halloween in a couple years because we seem to do home remodels in the month of October. I don't know, but anyhow. So that's why I have so many of them this year. And so one of the things I made was a wreath, and I filmed I filmed the wreath, but apparently only half of it got recorded. So it's kind of sad. I wanted to share that with you. But I'm going to go ahead and post the 2 wreaths that I made just to kind of show you some inspiration. And again, don't forget to follow me over on Instagram. My handle over there is $__mom. So 2 underscores. Someone else had the one with just 1 underscore. So that's what I did. But anyhow, I post all my creations over there. So it's a good place to get just still pictures that you can save over there on Instagram. All right, so I'm making bows here. I hope that you all have a fun and safe Halloween wherever you're at. Okay, using these Dollar Tree trees, I grab 3 of them here and I zip tie them together, and then I just start fluffing that baby out. And then I take the other 2 that you see off to the right there, and after I have some fluffing done, I'm going to go ahead and zip tie those ones in as well. And this is just going to give me a nice full tree. It'll be, and then for the 5th tree that I had, I went ahead and just cut off all the branches so that I could just put them anywhere where I felt like it needed them. The great thing about these trees is they are wire, so they're really easy to wire together. So as I, intertwine the 2 here and then the 3, I can extra secure them by taking some of the branches and wrapping them around each other. So it's just a matter of fluffing, and the 3 trees are my base, and then the 2 that I'm adding here, you'll see, that's just going to make it taller and fuller. And now I'm going to cut a hole in the top of one of these carvable pumpkins from Target. They are normally $8. I got this one on clearance last year for 80 cents. And then I painted it black with spray paint. Then I'm going to push this tree down in there. Now I couldn't really get foam in there and then a way to keep it secure. So then I grab some of the creepy cloth and I just start pushing it down into the pumpkin and this keep it standing up straight. And then I wasn't going to even show the creepy cloth. I was just going to like have it go around the base, but then I loved how it looked draped down. And so that was one of those happy accidents where I was like, yeah, I'm liking where this is going. Also, I apologize. I started filming from this other angle and forgot to flip my phone so it's upright. But anyhow, get this in there and that's going to help keep it from flopping over. And then whatever, you can just cut another little piece and just keep pushing it down in there. And then I just took some of these ornaments from Dollar Tree. I hang those all around the tree. Now, I didn't put lights in this. I checked my lights. So the ones from Dollar Tree, the little battery operated LED ones, they were too small. It wouldn't go around enough times. Their regular lights that plug in, that would probably work, but I didn't have any. So you just saw those little signs from Dollar Tree, so I'm going to take one of those, and it actually works out perfectly just to hang it from the bottom of the tree. I didn't even have to glue it on or anything. So I'm just going to embellish the bottom here a little bit here with one of these little witch's hats, and then I'm going to put one last witch's hat on the top, but you couldn't see it, I'm sorry, but you'll see it in the after product there, after picture. It's just a hair clip that looks like a witch's hat that I got from the 99-cent store. So most everything's from Dollar Tree. The pumpkin is from Target. I know Michael's and other craft stores sell them as well. And then the little hair clip was from 99-cent store. I grabbed these cupcake holders from Dollar Tree and I really love them. I wasn't sure what I was going to do with them. I knew I wasn't making cupcakes, but they were really cool with this like spider web look to them. So I went ahead and put a couple together and I thought they fit on this candlestick and look so cool. So I went ahead and I spray painted the clear candlesticks at Dollar Tree with a matte black. And now I'm just taking my glue gun and I just glue this down in 2 spots. But I come back later right here and I take black hot glue and I go around the whole thing and I like how that looks so much better. So I have this other glue gun, couldn't think of the word, from Hippo, and I use it for my colored and different kinds of glue sticks. And so this one I put black ones in and it's great for Halloween. I use it on a lot of projects in this video. And so I'm just going to go all the way around and give it kind of that gluey like melted candle look. And then just with some E6000 and again some more of that hot glue, I'm going to glue 2 of the candlesticks together. And then after I do that, I'm going to glue on these skulls also from Dollar Tree onto the tops. And these are just going to make kind of a, I don't want to say fun because skulls aren't necessarily fun, but a cool Halloween decor piece. I think it will look good kind of in the background of my decor. Again, those cupcake holders are so cool. And I feel like there's lots of different things that you can do with them. And they had other designs as well. In one of my recent fall videos, I made over this Christmas sign here into this harvest fall sign, and now I'm going to flip it over and make it into Halloween. If you haven't seen my videos where I do this, I had bought this Target sign. It came with 4 of those signs, and I've been decorating them for each holiday. So I'm just taking 2 different pieces of scrapbook paper, that Spiderweb one. I looked on the back, and it was made in 2007. So, it's just kind of a little bit of an old piece of paper. But the spider webs are like velvety. It's really cool. And then I just found this stripe paper that I thought coordinated well with it. Now these signs in particular aren't 12 by 12, so that's why you're gonna need 2 pieces. So I'm just putting them down. You can see it's hanging over the edge, but that's okay because I'm gonna flip it over and cut off that excess. So this sign, again, it was from the Target dollar spot at Christmas, I think 2 years ago. So obviously, you can't buy that again, but all it is just a sign that hangs for each holiday, and you can just flip them over. So you could easily make yourself one of those. Then in between each of the different patterns, I'm going to use this amazing ribbon from Dollar Tree. It's black skulls. It's so cool. They have spiders, I think spider webs, and maybe pumpkins, maybe bats. I can't remember, but there was like 5 different ones, and they're so cool. And so I'm going to put that on both the top and the bottom. And then I grabbed this trick or treat words from Michael's. It's normally $2.99. They were on sale for $1.80. So that is a really good deal, I think. And I painted the trick and treat black, and then I painted the or in Cashew by Waverly. And then I'm just gonna hot glue those down onto here. And then I'm gonna grab one of the little broomsticks from Dollar Tree. I cut it down a little bit. I made the broom part a little bit shorter, and I glue that on down next to the trick or treat. And then I finish my broom off with a little bat. And this was, you can see, so quick and so easy. There's just a few elements, but it's like one of my favorite things I've made. I mean, oh, I said a bat. It was a spider. But anyhow, look how easy peasy that is. And here it is hanging on my Target sign. Okay, for this project, I'm going to use this pumpkin sign from Dollar Tree. It comes in their fall decor, and they also have it in their Halloween decor, and it's the same, just different design. I'm going to flip it over and use the back, and then I picked up this cute little spooky spider wood piece from Joann's and some scrapbook paper. And this little wood piece from Joann's is normally $2.99. It was 60% off, so under $1.50. So I'm going to just take apart my sign here, and I'm going to trace the pumpkin onto the scrapbook paper, and I will end up Mod Podging that right onto this pumpkin. I could have sanded or finished off this back, but you know, it's Halloween. I don't mind the glitter so much. And then I'll just cut this out, and then I'm going to set it aside because it's going to be time to paint, and I really should do that first because you want to give it drying time. And here's where I use that glitter glue again. I just love it. So I just outline the spider web part. So not the word or the actual spider, just the web. And I just think it gives it that little bit of extra. This glue does take a little while to dry, so definitely do this step at the beginning. So one of my favorite things is Mod Podge and scrapbook paper. I am a scrapbook paper addict. I have so much of this. This was actually from my stash, so I don't even know if it's in stores anymore because I could have bought it 10 years ago. Who knows? So anyway, I'm just going to put some Mod Podge down and the scrapbook paper on top. It's just amazing how a pattern piece of paper can really transform a project. So based on whatever shape you come across that you're gonna string here will be how you string it. This one already had holes, 2 at the top, so that's how I decided, and it had 1 hole on the pumpkin part. So I just feed it through here and make a couple loops, and that is how I hang the spider off this. And lastly, just a quick little glitter bow here using ribbon from Dollar Tree. It's such a fun, this is the one time a year I just let the glitter go. I have glitter. I'm not sure this project could be any easier. I found these napkins at Marshall's. They were $3.99 and you get 40 of them. It's funny how I say this is a splurge. I'm like, I spent $4 on napkins, but it's so cute. I just loved the napkin and the saying. It's so perfect. It says, Hocus Pocus, I definitely need wine to focus. So I needed that. So I grabbed this little sign from Dollar Tree and I'm just popping off the middle there and this little piece of wood that was making it 3D. Super easy. I don't know how I got so lucky that my napkin and this sign were the exact same size. So I'm literally just gonna Mod Podge this napkin down into this sign and that's it. It's complete. I don't want to put a bow. I just like the way it looks just like that. Now, the one mistake I did make, I should have cut the napkin in half because I didn't need the back part of the napkin because you know how they're folded in fours. So you'll see here that the napkin kind of lifts up. So I just use a little bit of this Dollar Tree spray adhesive just to kind of, yeah, right here, stick it down a little bit. But that was all to this project. So again, you can use scrapbook paper, whatever you find, but this napkin, it spoke to me. I had to make a project with it. And I have 39 more to make more projects. And here are the skulls cut out, and then these little bat pins that I was talking about, I just painted them black, and then I just pinched them in between each of the skulls, and I made a simple but good looking garland. Okay, for this one, I picked up this pumpkin from the Goodwill for $2, and this is a fabric strip pack from Walmart. It's so neat. I used it on another project as well, and some Mod Podge. So these fabric strips are really neat. They have Halloween, fall, Christmas. They had all sorts of them, and I want to say they were $5.97, and it comes with so much. So it works out really great because these strips are just the perfect size to start wrapping around this pumpkin. So I'm just going to start by adding some Mod Podge to the pumpkin, and then I will just lay the fabric down and wrap it all the way around. And then I will go to the next pattern and do the same thing. Now, this was a very good find, of course, at Goodwill, but I do know that Walmart also carries these larger pumpkins, and I want to say they're $4.97 at Walmart. So this was so easy to do, a little messy, but it was so quick and so easy just to wrap these pieces of fabric around. I just had so much fun making this, and it turned out so good. I hope the picture I show at the end of the video does it justice. I also made one with the fall fabric that I picked up with one of the smaller Dollar Tree pumpkins, and I will also show that picture at the end of this one as well. After you get all of the strips on, then you're going to want to coat the whole outside with more Mod Podge. So I also picked up these cute napkins from Dollar Tree, and I wanted to see if I could do the same thing but with the napkins. So I go ahead and I cut some strips up, and I add it to the pumpkin just like I did on the last one with fabric, and it worked great, as you can see here. I didn't show you the process because you had just seen it before, so I just did the exact same thing. Now I'm just taking a pipe cleaner, I'm folding it in half and folding it in half again, just to make a fun little stem for my pumpkin. I'm just going to make a little hole, put it down in there, and add some glue. Again, I hope this was clear. I just repeated the process of the Mod Podge and fabric, but on this one I cut strips of napkin and did the same thing. But I just wanted to show you the final project because final project? Yeah, you get it. And then I'm just going to add a bow on this just to give it a little extra pizzazz. And like I said, I find bottles throughout the year that I just love, and so I didn't really want to do a whole lot to this wine bottle, so I thought, you know, I'm just going to cut a hole here in this skull, and I'm just going to, you know, like stake it with the wine bottle. It's just going to be a skull topper. I love these skulls from Dollar Tree. You know, for $1.25, you really can't beat it. Um, they they just really look good in the decor. So again, I'm just cutting it out. It cuts really easily, and I'm just sticking it right down there on this bottle. If you haven't tried 19 Crimes wine, it's really good. I really like it. Um, it's not the cheapest, but it's like right there in the cheap range. And then I'm going to use some more of this garland stuff. I'm just cutting off one section there, and I'm just going to glue it down. Now this is where that black hot glue comes in handy. And I wanted to say earlier, I didn't mention it, my E6000 was also black. I accidentally bought black, and so I don't use it very often, but whenever I know I can hide it or whatever I'm gluing isn't going to matter, I'll use the black. So it came in handy finally at Halloween that I could finally use my black E6000 and my black hot glue. And that's it for this project. I just like the bottle the way it was because it's called 19 Crimes, and it just seems very Halloween and like, I don't know, like maybe a serial killer is loose or something like that. And that's it, and then I just add it to my decor. So this skeleton is a little skeleton bride from Dollar Tree, but I don't really want a bride, so I am just ripping off all the little white tulle on it. Um, they do have some that don't have any costume on it, but I think it was like motion censored. I don't know. I tried it with this one. Now the long arms of the skeleton were not working for me. It made it so it couldn't sit. So I take my pliers here, not pliers, what are these, wire cutters, and I don't cut all the way through. I cut just enough so that I'm able to bend these, okay, so I'm giving him elbows, and there, now he can sit. And then this drinking cup, this pumpkin one, I also have a skeleton one, or a skull one, but they didn't have them anymore when I had the idea. So anyhow, so I'm using this pumpkin. I'm not gonna paint it. I think it's a really cool, like, this kind of look to it. So I'm gluing my skeleton to this pumpkin here. He's gonna hug it. But what this is gonna be is a candle holder. So I'm taking this rubber band here to hold them all into place, and then I let it sit while I do other projects. So once it's nice and secure, now we're ready to decorate our candle holder. So I'm taking some of this spiderweb ribbon here, and I'm going to put it around where the bottle cap would go. Okay, now I've stuck a pillar candle inside of a very small piece of floral foam there, and then I'll put some glue at the bottom of that, and that way my candlestick will stay down into the cup well. And then I am going to give it a little more makeover here. I'm going to add this little black leaf, and then add the black flower. And this way you aren't going to see that big kind of gape, that hole is bigger than where my candlestick goes, but this will kind of cover that up. So when you're looking at it from the side, it will look like a cute little skeleton candle holder. Again, I just love making over these pumpkin signs. I can't tell you how many I've made over, but scrapbook paper and these pumpkins, they're a winning combo. Again, I picked this up from Joann's. I got it with that spider one, and I probably got 5 more because they're so cute. And Joann's is one of my favorite places to pick up these little wood sayings because they're always on sale and they're really good price anyway. Okay, so I'm just going to take apart my pumpkin here, and I'm going to cover it with scrapbook paper once again, and then just add my little boo saying to it, and I have a super cute tabletop Halloween decor item. I like to pick up these unfinished wood pieces from Joann's and Hobby Lobby after the season is over. They're really inexpensive. So I colored it with my paint markers, okay? Set that aside. Now onto my pumpkin here, just a regular old pumpkin from Dollar Tree, and then some of their black sparkle vinyl. I find that this doesn't cut very well in my Cricut, but it does work great as like covering. So like if you don't have scrapbook paper or anything, this stuff works really great. Plus it's sticky. So you just put it down like you would wallpaper. I used my wallpaper smoother to smooth it down, and it's so fast, so easy. I love this option for covering surfaces. Okay, now with the same purple pen that I used, I'm going to also use it on the stem of this pumpkin. And then you can see I did it in the Happy Halloween on this little witch's hat. I used a silver Sharpie on the webs, and then I used that black marker from the beginning of the video, the little brush marker. And then I just glue this on. Look how simple that was. I know if you're like me, you're like, what am I going to do with these unfinished wood pieces? Well, I think this was the perfect solution. You'll have to let me know down in the comments if you like working with these little unfinished wood pieces or not. And here's another example of one that I colored and put on a Dollar Tree. Okay, so I took 5 of the white Christmas trees that are out right now and I spray painted them black. And then I fluffed them out and I took 3 of them and I zip tied them together like you see here. So, and I want to mention too, when I fluffed them out, I made sure they were flat. And so what we're making here is a swag. I took the other 2 and zip tied them together, and then I laid them on top of each other like this. And then because the stems themselves are wired, you just wire them together with the stems. I used the skull and the ornaments here. I did not use the spiders. I poked a hole in this skull and put a zip tie through it, and then just zip tied it to the middle of the swag. So you can see here, this project is super simple and it's my absolute favorite for Halloween. Just love it. And zip ties are my new best friend. I don't know why I don't use them more, but they just go right through these ornaments perfectly and right onto the swag. So I'm just going to put them all around as you see here. Super easy. So they do have Halloween trees at Dollar Tree, but mine were already out of them and they have an orange intertwined into the tree. I thought that would look really great, but unfortunately I could only find 2, and so I just went ahead and did it this way, where I took the white trees and spray painted them black. Pick up some of those trees, like for any holiday, you can spray paint them, but grab some, maybe a Halloween, Valentine swag. That would be really pretty too. Okay, so I'm gonna make the bow for the top of the swag. And this is kind of my new favorite way to make bows. I saw a little, I don't know if it was a TikTok or something, where they made bows this way and it makes it super easy. So I kind of just decide how big I want my bow. And I just kind of pinch here and then I will cut the length that I want the bow. Once I do that, I'm going to make a bunch of these strips all the same size. So in this instance, I think I did 3 of each of these 3 colors. And these ribbons are all from Dollar Tree. Their ribbons, they have some really great ribbons. And even though there's not a ton on the roll, it's usually plenty for me in the season. So once you get all of them cut, you're just gonna start by folding them in half and pinching. That's it. Now you take the next color, fold it in half, and pinch. And you're going to do this with all of these, and then I secure them all with a zip tie. I'm seriously just loving the zip ties. Sometimes I do things a difficult way, and then I suddenly, I see something, and I thought, why have I been doing it the hard way this whole time? Okay, so here you go. You're going to secure it with a zip tie, and then you're going to fluff your bow. So you fluff the top, and then you pull the tails all around underneath, and then your bow is ready to attach. You can also see at the top of my screen there, I have little mini ornaments. Those would be really cute to add to this as well, but I ended up adding some floral stems instead. I like both looks, so if you want to make this really full and, you know, with things in it, I would definitely add those little mini ornaments too. Now, if for some reason you can't find Halloween ornaments, I know it'd be extra work, but you could get Christmas, the clear ones, and you can paint them. So you can like pour the paint, you know, inside the ornament so it's not like super messy. You know, I know that's extra work, but if you can't find it and you really want to make this, that is an alternate option. Okay, so the easy part is that because the trees are wire, it's really easy just to put all of these little florals in because the stems are wire as well. So this project super easy to put together, and I just love the way that it turned out. These shiplap shapes from Dollar Tree are perfect for Farmhouse, and so I went ahead and I painted them in linen from Rust-Oleum. And then I'm going to take some of these rub-ons also from Dollar Tree, and I just cut out the ones that I want, Trick or Treat and Happy Halloween, and then I just rub them on. Then I'm just going to add a little buffalo check bow at the top, and that's it. Super quick, super easy Farmhouse Halloween signs. Okay, you'll need this sign and these metal letters from Dollar Tree. I lost the footage there, so I had to find it, little clip it from somewhere else. But anyhow, you're gonna paint that sign with black chalk paint. And then I just spray painted these metallic letters with white primer spray paint. You can also use white chalk paint. I just thought it was easier to do it that way. And I just went ahead and attached them with E6000 because I find with the hot glue on metal just doesn't stick that well. Okay, I'm sorry again if this footage went a little quick, but it was the only way I can recover it was in like speed mo. I'm going to take some of this plastic chain, also from Dollar Tree. It's super lightweight and every other chain will come undone. So I went ahead and I made groups of 3. And then I'm going to flip this sign over and I'm just going to add these little chains to go between my letters Haunted, Beware, and Spooky. Again, I will use some E6000 for that extra hold, but I'm also going to use some hot glue just to give it that immediate hold. This was another super simple DIY that I think turned out really good and looking way store-bought. And here's for just a quick, simple project. I picked up this green and black bowl from Dollar Tree. I love the Ray Dunn style bowls. Goodness, I'm having a hard time tonight. And so I just cut the words Hocus and Pocus on my Cricut using the skinny font that you can download for free on defont.com, and I will link that below. If you don't have a Cricut, Dollar Tree does sell rub-ons, and you can just rub them onto these bowls. And I just think these are going to make the cutest little treat bowls, and I will just stack them, and they'll just be a cute thing to add onto my kitchen counter for some Halloween decor. Okay, now when I stack them, I'm going to take this wood circle that I picked up from Dollar Tree in their craft section, and this will make it so that my bowls will stack nicely and you will be able to read the words. All right, I'm taking this sign from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to go ahead and take it all apart, take this top off. I'm going to be using this side of the sign, so I wanted to make sure I got all the staples and everything out and nice. And so I'm going to use my little heat gun tool here, which is linked in the description. It just helps get those tags off easily, those stickers off easily. Now, because this has kind of this 3D little wood piece, I want to take that off as well. And I did finish off the back with some contact paper from Dollar Tree. Now I'm just using black paint from Folk Art and covering this side of the sign. Now, I was originally going to cut a piece of wood in this exact shape, and then I was looking and I thought, oh, I actually had that shape already, because what we're going to do is we're going to flip it upside down and we are going to make a black Halloween cat. I was so excited when I saw this sign because it was accidentally upside down in my stash, and I went, oh, that's the exact shape I need, and I thought that is amazing. So I just took my Cricut and I made a tall rectangle and then just cut it diagonally, and that's how I made the inner parts of this ear. Easily paint this. I just thought, hey, I'm already cutting out something on my Cricut. I might as well just make the ears as well. Now, this idea came from something I saw in a boutique. It was, a thick piece of wood. Like I said, I was going to cut a piece of wood to make this, and it would stand up on its own. But when I saw the shape, and I knew it was something you guys could use because you wouldn't have to cut wood, so I went ahead and did it this way. I'm also trying to use my contact paper over and over, or my transfer, it makes it go a lot longer away. Okay, so I just used 3 different fonts, and off the top of my head, I do not know the fonts at the moment, so I will link them down below when I find them. But I just used 3 different fonts, and it says Scaredy Cats Welcome. I love mixing fonts. That's always been something I like to do, and I just think it gives it, extra, I don't know, eye candy. So this project is super easy to make, and it doesn't even matter what fonts I used. You can just go in and play with fonts that you have, and always remember, and you can go to defont.com and get whatever font you like. Okay, so I'm just going to take my twine, and this is going to be my whisker. So I'm just going to kind of make it as thick as I want. How many whiskers do I want? And then I'm going to just tie my twine around the middle, and then I am going to wrap it a few times so that it's nice and thick in the middle. And then I'll cut off the ends, and that will make my whiskers. The last thing I have to do is just put the eyes on, and that's it. And I just went into Design Space and typed in cat eye, and those popped right up. So super easy project, and I think it turned out super cute. For this one, I'm taking the house frame from Dollar Tree, and I just took it apart and I traced around a piece of scrapbook paper, and that is what that shiplap is. And then I cut this out on my Cricut, and I will put it down onto the paper. If you don't have a Cricut, this is super easy because all you could do is just print it off your printer and then cut the paper to size. So I just happen to like the shiplap look, and so I'm just putting the vinyl on top of that. And then I'm just going to, oh, I forgot to mention, I painted the frame of the house black, and I just used Waverly black paint. It might have a fancy name, but it's just the black. And then I'll put all of this back together, and I'm gonna just sand a little bit of the house frame just to give it a little bit more of a rustic look. And that's it, just a really cute farmhouse looking sign. And then I'll add a little buffalo check bow, and that's it, just a quick and easy project. Okay, this is another fun and easy project. I'm taking an empty roll from ribbon from Dollar Tree. This, they say cloche. I don't know how to pronounce it, but you know what this is, a dome thing. And some of these purple Halloween ribbons and a plastic skull from Dollar Tree. Now, if I'm saying it again, cloche dome thing was from the 99-cent store for $2.49. So I'm going to just take apart the flowers. The first stems I actually cut, and then I realized it's actually easier just to pull the flowers off because I don't really need them to have any kind of stems. So then I'm going to take this ribbon roll, and what it's going to do is it's going to give us height for our skull. So I'm just going to glue it down to the center. And then I'm just going to start taking the flowers and decorating around it, just using my hot glue, randomly placing them around. And then I'm going to add the skull head to the top of this, and then just fill in where is needed, where there's holes with flowers and leaves. And then I'm just going to put the dome on, and this project is complete. Okay, so I'm going to take an empty bottle. Any bottle will do. Um, you can see I kind of melted it because I was using my heat gun to get the label off. And so be careful if you're doing that. It's probably better just to soak the bottle to get the label off. So as you see, I'm just taking some acrylic black paint and sticking it inside the bottle and swishing it around. This will help you not have a big old mess by painting the outside. All right, so here it is. So I'm making a potion bottle. Another thing I saw at a store in the decor, and it was this really kind of elaborate, chunky potion bottle. So I thought, ooh, that'll be really fun. Okay, so I have this piece of, I'm trying to remember what this paper is called, but it's like it's homemade paper type look. So to get that like frayed ends, I take water and I water the ends, and then you can see here I'm just pulling the paper off. And this is going to give me that feathered look, like old paper look. I was just taking the straw out of my water cup and wetting it. That's what I was doing. So I just want to cover the front of this bottle with this paper. Gosh darn. Tell me what this paper is called. I've used it in my scrapbooks for years, and I am blanking. I'm blanking what it's called. Okay, so I'm just going to take some Mod Podge and Mod Podge this down. And then it's just fun. It's just adding rub-ons and stickers and 3D elements and just making this old looking potion bottle. I am so glad that Dollar Tree is putting rub-ons out because rub-ons are my favorite. I just think they look a little higher end than stickers. So I just kind of pull them out. I just randomly place them all over this. I do know that I am going to cut one of those skulls out and put it in the center, so I'm kind of leaving the center open. Again, you're just going to see me add elements until I get the look I like. Once I get all my elements on, I'm just going to Mod Podge over the top again, just to make sure that everything is nice and stuck down. And then I'm going to take some of the black paint again, and I'm just going to kind of sponge it all around just to kind of give it an aged look. And then I'm going to take some like this metallic copper that I have and also sponge that around to give it that, again, that old, you know, like it's been around a long time potion bottle. Okay, so now it's time to make the top of our bottle look good. So I'm going to take this twine and wrap it around the neck of the bottle, and then I'll just add on the wine cork at the end. The wine cork's just a little skinny, and so I put hot glue around the bottom and stick it inside, and I think that finishes off the bottle nicely. And that's it. That's how easy it is to make this bottle. I just thought it was so fun because it's fun just to layer lots of, elements. And a lot of you say that you think I'm the queen of layering, and I take that as a compliment because layers and textures are my favorite. Okay, I'm taking this wagon wheel wreath form from Dollar Tree, and this is a new item I have just seen in stores. It's called wreath. Oh, I already can't remember. But anyhow, they have it in lots of colors. So I picked up the black, and I'm going to make a spider web with this. Uh, it's not wired, but it keeps its shape. So it's really easy, pretty easy to use. So I'm just going to adhere the first piece down here with some glue, and then I'm just going to kind of go around just so I know how much to cut, because otherwise it's going to be too hard to what's the word, rope around each rung there. Now, when I originally saw these wagon wheel forms, I was so excited. I just feel like there's so many things you can do with them, especially if you like Rustic and Farmhouse. I bought like 8 of them because I was so worried that I would never see them again. But every time I go to my Dollar Trees, they still have them. So it looks like it's going to be something they always have in stock. So that's good news. So you see here, I'm just kind of giving it kind of like a half circle between each rung here, and then just all I'm doing is winding it around one time, and that's all you need to do. It stays really well. Just something about the thickness of this kind of rope, I guess you would call it. It's kind of like a crepe paper rope. It's just an interesting texture, but they have it in Christmas colors too, so I'm excited to use it for Christmas. So once I get that all the way around, I will hot glue it to the beginning. And then I'm just going to do it one more time so that I get my web looking here. And you could do 3 layers or however you want your web to look. I even thought about wrapping it around the outside, but I wasn't sure how exactly that would adhere without a lot of hot glue, and it might get messy. So I think it turned out good just like this. I just made a simple bow. It's just 2 loops that I zip tie in the middle and add some tails. This is just one stem here from Dollar Tree in these purples, and I love it. It had 6 whole stems on it. So I'm going to take 3 and put them on each side. Again, I just zip tie the 3 together and then zip tie them to the bottom of this wreath. I will then zip tie the bow onto the bottom of the wreath, and then that spider up above, I can't remember if I got it at Dollar Tree or not. I shop at Dollar Tree and the 99-cent store, maybe from there, but I do know for sure that Dollar Tree has some spiders. And again, I just took that spider and zip tied it to the top of my web, and that's it. A super cute and simple little wreath. I'm pretty sure I got that spider at Dollar Tree though. I took this large canvas because I wanted to make a statement piece. And then I took Waverly chalk paint and pumpkin and I covered the canvas. Now you can see it's not an even coat and I did that on purpose. I want this to look aged. Now, I didn't fully know where I was going to go with this sign when I started it. So you don't really have to paint the entire canvas, this pumpkin. You can really just do the outside, like 2 to 3 inches, probably 3 to 4 inches actually, around the outside, so you don't have to waste your paint in the middle. And then I'm just taking this acrylic paint in black, and as you can see, I'm just doing the big coat around the middle. Technical difficulties here. I love it when I can just pour the paint right on the canvas and I don't have to make a mess pouring it into something that I probably won't get around to cleaning. Once that I like how my center is turning out, I'm gonna take my chip brush and I am going to now cover the outsides. Again, I just want to give it that aged look and have some of the orange showing through. It never fails. I always get too much on my brush. As you see, I accidentally like covered that whole spot up there and that's not what I meant to do. This area you see here, you see how the orange is kind of, that is exactly the look I was going for. Once this all dries, I went on my Cricut and I downloaded an SVG from Creative Fabrica, which I will link down below. And right now, for $1, you can get unlimited downloads for an entire month. So you can go in there and get all your Halloween and your Christmas, whatever SVGs that you want to use, and it only costs you $1 total. So I decided instead of having vinyl on this, I did want to make it a stencil. So I just used some of my old pink vinyl that I knew I wasn't going to use and I made a stencil. Now I'm using the color Cashew. I went back and forth whether I wanted to use orange or not, but I just really wanted more of a creamy look. So I'm going to go ahead and I am going to tap the paint down into my stencil. Now I'm bummed because I thought I hit record when I peeled this up, because we all know that's like the most satisfying part is when you peel your stencil up and the image is there. Now I don't know if it's because my vinyl was extra sticky or if it's because I used acrylic paint and not chalk paint for the black, but when I pulled up my vinyl, it did pull up a little bit of the black paint. It would have been nice if it revealed the orange, but it peeled it up from the whole thing, so it was actually white, which was fine because like I said, I wanted to make this look aged, and I think that's what that did. It looks like it's been, you know, scratched, and I'm okay with that. So just to kind of make it look uniform, you can see how there's little white spots where the vinyl pulled it up. So I'm just going to take a little piece of painter's tape, rub it on a spot, and rip it up, and you see the paint comes up with it. So that way it just kind of looks like it was on purpose and not on accident. So this is a really large sign. I had a big wall space and I wanted to have a nice statement piece. Canvases are always on sale at Michael's. They always have coupons, so it's really inexpensive for how big of a statement piece this is. For this wreath, I'm going to use these little white pumpkins. They're from Target, and it was $3 for the pack. And then I'm going to use one of these, wired hanging things. So what it's supposed to do is be like this sphere thing that you decorate from Dollar Tree, but I just needed one of the wires. So I'm gonna go ahead and take that out and leave those other ones for another project. And then the two buffalo check pumpkins you see there, those are from a bouquet that I bought at Walmart. It was a beautiful fall bouquet for $5, and these didn't work for me in the other bouquet, which is in another video you will see coming out soon. So I'm just going to kind of line these up how I would like them on the wreath. I'm just going to do the lower half of the wreath. Now, because it's wire and things just don't stick to wire that well, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take some black ribbon and wind it around the wire. I'm just going to do this for the bottom half. And now I am going to glue the pumpkins on. So I experimented one off camera, and so now I'll show you how I'm going to do it. So I'm going to glue the pumpkin to the wire form here. And because it has ribbon over it now, it'll stick much better. And then I'm going to take a piece of the black ribbon and I'm going to glue it long ways and short ways over the pumpkin to give it that extra adherence to the wreath form. I'm just going to continue doing this for all of the pumpkins, and the wreath is almost complete, but of course it's going to need a buffalo check bow for the top. I do just a simple like tie your shoe kind of bow at the top, and that's it. A very easy Halloween and could even just be used for fall in general, farmhouse wreath. I'm absolutely loving my membership over at Creative Fabrica, and that is where I downloaded this Halloween porch sign. It's also where I got the first Home Sweet Haunted House SVG as well. For just $1 your first month, you can download unlimited SVGs, sublimation, craft projects, all sorts of items. So I will link that down in the description box. And as you can see here, I just added some ribbon to the top and a little fuzzy spider. It's from a pack that I picked up from the 99-cent store. However, I'm sure Dollar Tree has a similar spiders. And I just think this makes the cutest farmhouse porch sign. And using some more of the window clings, which are so cute, I'm going to make a sign. We use this Dollar Tree square sign. Actually, I picked up several of these because I think they're going to be great makeovers throughout the year. So I'm going to go ahead and add some white chalk paste, and then I will add these Dollar Tree clings to the sign using Mod Podge. because they won't stick just to the board without something, because they're made to stick to glass. So I'm just going to put a little bit light coat of this Mod Podge on, and then the window clings will stick to it. Then using these rub-ons and stickers from Dollar Tree, this will be what I complete the sign with. I'm going to go ahead and count my letters, which is poison, and I'm going to pick where I want them on the sign, and I have to have a straight line, of course. So I'm going to just lightly use my pencil to mark where I want the word poison. And I will start the word from the center and work my way out. And then I will do the same thing with the rub-ons. I'm loving the Dollar Tree ribbons this year. I'm going to go ahead and just cut out a piece the length of what I want it to go across the sign. This is going to be a super easy bow, no tying involved. I'm just going to take a couple patterns that I like from their ribbons, and then I will make them all the same size, and then I'm going to dovetail the ends and tie them together, and I'm going to add them up in the corner of this sign, because I think that is what's going to give the sign the correct amount of weight. I felt like my sign needed just a little bit more, so I'm just going to add one more little ribbon here to the center, and then this project is almost complete. I'm just going to put a pipe cleaner through the top to give it something to hang from. After my sign was complete, I just felt like it was missing something. So I grabbed my brush and some black chalk paint, and I decided just to kind of dry brush around the edges, and I really just think that finished off this sign. Now a simple skull makeover. I grabbed this skull at the Dollar Tree along with these gems. And actually, this is not my original idea. I have seen several of these across Instagram and Facebook of people just glamming up and doing different things with these skull heads. So I knew that I needed one for that would fit in with this theme because it just worked so perfect. So I just had fun. I just randomly put the little gems wherever I saw fit and glammed this skull up. I love these pumpkins from Dollar Tree. Of course, they didn't have the letter that I would like, so I just grabbed a random one, knowing that I would cover it. So I'm going to use Velcro so that I can change it out for fall as well. And then I just cut out a piece of scrapbook paper and put it on the circle, and then add the wood ghost that's also from Dollar Tree on top. And again, I can just pop this off and I can put another circle down that will work for fall. Here's a quick pumpkin makeover from the new black pumpkins that Dollar Tree came out with. I'm just going to pop out the middle, and I'm going to have just a little there for to tuck the ribbon down in there, and I will glue it all the way around a couple times, add a bow, and I will add one of the little twigs there for the stem, and a cute little farmhouse Halloween pumpkin. For this first project, I'm going to use one of these beware signs from Dollar Tree, which I think are cute on their own. But anyhow, with this one, I'm going to take some of this folk art metallic amethyst paint. It's just something I found in my stash. I didn't even know how old it was, but thankfully it works. So I'm just going to paint my sign. I'm going to give it 2 layers just to get that good metallic sheen to it. And then I'm going to grab one of these eek signs, also from Dollar Tree. I'm going to paint it in this limey green. Let's see, it's called, I can't even read it. It's a lime green color, also from Folk Art. I'm not as big of a fan with the acrylic paints. I really like the chalk paints. They just cover better, they dry faster, but I didn't have this color on hand in the chalk paint. So I used this and I had to use a couple coats. And while that's drying, I'm going to make over this Boo Witch hat to add to our sign. It has this black garland over it, and it's really easy just to undo the garland. And after I undo it, I'm actually going to keep just the brim with the garland. I do like that look. And then I'm going to take this placemat that you see on the table here, and I'm going to use that to cover the hat instead of this garland. Before I attach this Dollar Tree placemat, I'm going to go ahead and just take my little snips here, and I'm going to cut off the little plastic pieces that are on the outside. It's super easy. It's very like pliable plastic. I can just snap them right off, and I kind of have wussy hands, so it's really easy to get off. Okay, now my wreath is ready to be covered. I'm just going to kind of get it settled here and flip it over. And I use my little Dollar Tree clips here just to keep it in place. And once I decide that I like how it looks, I'll go ahead and use some hot glue and glue it down. I get asked a lot about this little pink tool. It is also from Dollar Tree, and it has a little pokey side and a little plastic side, and it works for so many things. Okay, so now that my ink sign is dry, I'm just going to take a little bit of black chalk paint and I'm going to go around the outside of the letters to make this pop. And I will go ahead and also add a little dimension between the letters. I like the middle of this sign, so I'm just going to cut it apart and I will use this piece to add to our witch hat. And then on to this little cauldron. They come in, I believe, a 6-pack, and I use them for all sorts of little things. I grabbed my little tin snips, and even though this is just plastic, the tin snips worked really well. It cut through them so easy. I will link those snips below. They're good to have on hand. But anyhow, I'm just cutting this cauldron in half to add to our sign. Now I'm going to add some of this Dollar Tree ribbon to the hat here and add the witches in, and then our hat is done. And these little brooms come in a 3-pack. I didn't love the bow on it, so I took it off. Now it's time to put our sign together. I used some E6000 along with hot glue to add ink to the sign as well as the hat. I'm going to go ahead and add this broom and our little cauldron. And then I just had some of this orange garland left from another project that I put inside, and it is complete. Okay, for another super simple project, and I'm sure you've seen many DIYers do these. I'm just going to show you how I was making them. I was making them anyway, figure I might as well show you. So this is just a 2-pack of towels that I picked up from Target last year. Did not get around to making them, so I'm going to make them now. So I'm just going to make a pillow out of these. And so I've done this with Dollar Tree napkins as well. I said napkins, I meant dish towels. So dish towels, they're usually like the perfect size. Now you can either stuff them or use an existing pillow to place inside, but this is a no-sew way to make a pillow. And so it makes it super fast. If it's gonna be something I use year round, I will definitely sew it, but I don't wanna get all that out if I don't have to. And this is a super fast way to do it. So you want to put right sides together. That's the most important thing. So put your right sides together. And then I'm just kind of clipping it here. You can use push pins if you have them. Again, I didn't want to get into my sewing stuff. I used what I had on hand. So I'm just kind of matching up my corners here. For whatever reason, even though these came together, one towel was a little bit longer than the other. I also leave the bottom side as my open side because that's where it's going to sit on your couch or wherever. So if you make any kind of funky mistakes, that'll be the side that's covered the most. So I always leave the bottom part open to feed my pillow through that part. Okay, so now that I have these together, I'm just going to start with my hot glue, and I'm going to glue as close to the edge as I can because this particular towel has a really cute black border and I don't want to lose that black border by putting my glue up too far. So I'm really placing this low on this fabric. So you just want to do a little bit at a time so that you don't get any kind of weird waves, wrinkles, whatever you want to call it. I also probably should have ironed this, but that was a whole nother step that yeah, that wasn't going to happen. I don't iron. Nope. Ironing is not for me. I don't mind a little wrinkle. Anyhow, so this has actually been on my couch for about a week now. I have a young child that jumps on the couch. I have dogs. I have cats. And these are staying together really nicely. So this works great. So I'm just going to go ahead and glue the 3 sides down. And then after I've done that, I will go ahead and put this, I will flip it to the right side. I hope that makes sense. On another note, I know my workspace that I film on is very tiny. I am in the process of just kind of moving things around. We've had kind of a change in how things are set up in my family. And so I have a tiny table that I'm able to record on. And so I know it doesn't give you the whole picture sometimes. And I know you can see my camera stand, but it's a work in progress. And hopefully soon I can make it so that there's more recording space. But for now, this is what I have to work with, and I'm hoping that it works for you too. And then on another note, since you're watching this part, is I mentioned I have dogs. And so my little puppy who is sitting with me at the moment is the only one up with me. I wait to do voiceovers when everyone's asleep, but this little one wants my attention. And so if you hear little funny crashes or noises in the background, that would be her. In fact, after this DIY is finished, I'll show you a little picture of what it looks like when I edit because there's a little puppy head right next to my screen. Okay, so here's the part I was talking about where I'm going to go ahead and turn it inside out. Now the corners are a little bit thick because of how the fabric was already sewn together for each towel. So I'm just going to clip off these edges a little bit, and that'll just make it turn inside out better. So that it just gives a little bit better of a corner for you when you're flipping it inside out. Okay, so here we go, flipping it. I am so grateful I found these towels last year, and I feel really bad because I know you guys are going to be like, I wish I could find those. I'm so sorry. But I'm hoping this gives you an idea for all holidays. Just keep an eye out for those tea towels that Target has in their dollar spot or Dollar Tree. Dollar Tree has super cute dish towels as well. So really this is just kind of to inspire you to keep an eye out for those easy things to make pillows out of. Okay, so now that I have this turned outside, I'm using this pillow my mom was going to toss out. She bought it, it didn't match, and I was like, oh, let me have that because it's brand new and I'm going to cover it. And so I finally did that. I think I've had it for a year waiting to cover it. It's actually like lime green on one side and this like crazy print on the other, but surprisingly it didn't really show through. And so now that I've gotten my pillow in there, this is the hardest part of the whole project. And this is just where we're going to start folding in the bottom so that it looks like it's sewn. Okay, so what I do is I fold down in here. You'll see the longer fabric, which was this plaid fabric. And I'm sorry again that you can't quite see it. Normally when I'm folding stuff like this, I'm doing it on my lap. You know, you hold it between your legs and you're folding it. So it's having a little bit of a hard time I'm doing it on top of the table here to show you, but I'm hoping you'll be able to get the point. So I'm just put the one fabric down in, and then I'm folding the other fabric up. So I really, really hope you guys can see that. The corners are the most important part, so just really getting those corners. I do it very slowly, and then it makes the rest of it super easy. So again, you see here, I'm pinching that corner, and I'm folding each side inward. Okay, so now it's going to look like it's a seam. When in reality, we've just used hot glue and no one is going to be the wiser. Okay, so here again, I hate that it's off screen, I'm so sorry, but I think I get it on there enough for you to be able to see what I am doing. So I've got the black folded over just a little, I have the gray folded over just a little, the gray plaid I mean, and then I'm just going to add a little bit of glue. And then just press that together. It's a little bit tricky, you gotta have those fingers in there. So work in small sections, especially if this is your first time. Just kind of get that. There you go, see how it looks like a seam now? I've made many of these types of pillows, so it's a little bit easier for me to fold, and again, I'm hoping that it's coming across on the camera. So I'm just gonna keep doing that until I get all the way to the end, and then this pillow is done. This project is super simple but looks really cute. I grabbed these two tall candles from Dollar Tree in black and white. And I'm going to go ahead and take the wrapper off of this black one. The white one actually didn't have a wrapper, it just had a sticker. So I just had to take that off of there. It had a little bit of sticky residue, so I grabbed some of the nail polish remover and just rubbed it off on there, and it came right off. Then I'm going to use these Dollar Tree window clings, and it's just amazing. It's super simple. You just grab one off and you put it right onto the candle. No need for glue or anything because they're made to be attached to gloss. And the nice thing about this is you can just take them off with the holiday. But I'm going to add a little bow to the top, and this makes a super quick and easy DIY that's going to look so good with your decor. Okay, for this next project, I found this pillow at Dollar Tree. It is the sequins that turn from blue to purple, or vice versa, and this cute little kitchen towel. And so I've decided to cover just half of the pillow with this towel. And so the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to wrap this around, grab this white chalk pen, pencil, whatever you want to call it, from Dollar Tree. I'm just going to kind of mark where the seams are to give me an idea of where I want to cut. And I will cut this towel down to the size that I need. Okay, I'm going to center it onto my pillow. I'm going to add just a small little dot of glue just to kind of hold it in place. Now what I do is I fold over the edges and then I'm just going to glue them down right at the seam. So it's going to look like it was sewed into the pillow, but really it's just folded in half and glued. So I'm going to do this on the bottom and then the top, and then I will work on the sides. Okay, so now when I go to work on my sides, I'm just going to cut at a little bit of an angle on both sides so I don't have too much fabric to work with. And then again, I'm just going to fold it in half and then I'm going to tuck. Now the corners right here are going to be your trickiest part and the part you should probably spend the most time on. But again, this is a super quick and fast project, so don't let that discourage you. You're just going to take your time doing the corners and folding it just so. But once you get those corners down, the rest glues down super easy and your pillow is complete. I think these pumpkin signs from Dollar Tree are one of my favorite things to make over, especially because they come in two sizes. You get a tall and a fat. They're really easy just to take apart and take everything off of. I went ahead and took it off of its stand, and I'm going to paint the stand black, black chalk paint. And then I'm going to cover this sign in a silver glitter paper this time. And you'll see I used the spray adhesive again, and I still had a little bit of black paint on my brush, but no problem, it's going against the paper anyhow. So put this down on my glitter paper, and then I will trim around the pumpkin with my X-Acto knife. I picked up this Happy Halloween stickers from the Target dollar spot for $1. And if you don't find this, no big deal, because Dollar Tree has black sticker letters. They even have, if you look in the craft section, the velvety letters, because this has a velvety look to it. But anyhow, gotta pick this up, makes it super easy. And so the way I'm going to add these to the sign is I'm just going to take my ruler and I'm going to lay it across my grid here that I have it laid on, and then I'll know they're straight. I always start with the middle layer and then I'll work my way out. I'm just going to take this piece of ribbon and I'm going to dovetail the ends of it, and then I'm just going to tie it a little bit around in the center and make a bow. So there's no tying involved, it's really just scrunching the middle up, and that will make the cute bow. This ribbon is really hard to work with when I tied it in a ribbon for that previous project. It's just the texture, the sparkle, I don't know. So I'm just going to add that on there, and then I'm going to put the pumpkin back in the base. Again, I raided my scrapbook stash and I had these black chipboard shapes for Halloween, and so I chose this bat. This is a blackboard by Cosmo Cricket, but this would be easy just to trace out onto some black cardstock and cut out yourself if you don't have this. I'm just proud of myself for finally using up some stuff I already have, and this project is complete. Okay, so we are going to make a tomato cage wizard gnome. Okay, so I grabbed these two pieces of fabric from Joann's, and this one is going to be the body that you're seeing, and then the purple one on the floor will be the hat. Now, I made one of these for Christmas 3 years ago, and so I will link that video above right here if you want to see the Christmas one I made. I learned a couple things along the way with the Christmas one, so I was going to change this one up a little bit. And then I learned some things from this one that I would change up a bit. So I make mistakes so that you don't have to. So anyhow, you can see here, I'm just covering the tomato cage. I don't measure, do anything fancy. I just cover it. So using my hot glue gun, I'm just going to put the fabric all the way around. And then I fold up where the seam will be, just so it has a nice look to it. So this tomato cage actually has sat out for a while. And what I didn't show you was because the camera didn't catch it, was that I put a rubber band around the top there to make it that cone shape. But again, this tomato cage has been sitting outside for like 2 years, so it was a little wobbly. Hopefully you'll get one that's not too bad. Now the tomato cage, I got it at like Home Depot for like $2. Okay, so now that I got that, the whole tomato cage covered, now I'm going to take one of these mops. I actually prefer this one. That's the gray and white because we are a wizard, and of course you can have a multicolored gold beard. So you can see they're actually rounded at the bottom there. So I'm going to just take my scissors and cut all the loops. So now all of my pieces will be straight pieces. Once I do this, I'm going to go ahead and pull these out from the base there. It's super easy. These pull out like no problem. So here I just get the halfway mark and then I just pull a couple out. Once you pull a couple out, the rest just like practically fall out. Then I'm going to grab myself a bundle of them and kind of fold it in half, and that's all you gotta do. Then I take a little short piece of the beard and just tie a little knot there at the center, and then this is way easier than the way I did it originally, where I put each individual string on there. This way I only did 2 of these, and it made a nice full beard and made it super easy, to put on. One thing you're going to want to do when you hot glue these on is reach your hand underneath the tomato cage up inside and then press it from both sides. So you're pressing it from the inside and the outside, and then that way you get a nice, good appearance to the wizard. Okay, now I'm taking a styrofoam ball from a Dollar Tree and using ballet pink from Waverly to cover it. Now I recommend grabbing a light pink sock from the sock section and covering it that way. It works. And then I'm going to take a pool noodle here and cut it down, and I'm going to make arms. So this is where I did something different than the Christmas one. I also grabbed these skeleton gloves from Dollar General, and this is another thing I was picked up. They're too big. You really need to use like child-size gloves or mittens. So do that instead of these, unless you like the big hand thing. So I'm going to stuff the fingers okay? And then this is going to go around the noodle, and then we're gonna take that fabric, that's the body, and wrap the noodle. Okay, so here's the next step that you should do, is don't keep that top part, I was trying to figure out how to say this. What you're going to want to do is cut the top part at an angle. Cut a triangle out of the top part. So when you attach it to the body, it makes it like come out of the body, because the way I do it here, it kind of comes out of the hat, and it looks so weird because your arms wouldn't come out of the hat. So I do go back and cut it down. So later on in the video, you will see how I ended up having to cut it, but I cut it after the fact. So you want to cut it at this point. So you'll see what I ended up doing. And a lot of times projects like these, I just kind of go for it and think, what could I do? What could I do here? So if you see here, I'm just covering the noodle with the fabric, and then I'm going to put the glove over the top and also glue that down. Okay, so now I'm going to take that nose there, add a bunch of hot glue, and stick it down in the center there. And like I said earlier, you're going to want to push it from the other side. Now, what I'm also going to use is the floral pins. Okay, these are amazing, and I'm going to put one up there behind the nose, and this is just going to give it extra security. My other nose that I made on my other gnome, it does get kind of droopy because glue is just not quite. And then this is going to also secure those arms really well. So as you can see here, doesn't it look funny the way it's flat at the top? At this point, you would think I would have been like, this isn't going to work. But I thought maybe when I put the hat on it, it would kind of cover those arms and it wouldn't look funky, but it did. Okay, so now to use the fabric for the hat. So previously, you didn't have to put that body fabric all the way up. I just find it easier because you're not messing with getting it in the right position. Okay, so I'm just, again, there's no measurements here. I'm just playing it by ear, and I'm going to put this down so that it just barely pops over the nose. And then I'm going to go back and make a brim to his hat. So that way, this part doesn't have to be as perfect. So I'm just going to, fit it on there. I use some little clips just to kind of clip it in place so I can see how much. And then I'm just going to cut off the excess fabric and then glue this in. Okay, now I'm going to make the brim of the hat, and I just fold it in thirds and measure it here against my cutting mat. And then I'm going to just take my little mini iron here, which is a regular one, and iron it down so it has nice crisp edges there. And then now I'm just going to fold or wrap this around the hat, and this is just going to be like the brim. And so this is going to be one that I just kind of place a little bit better and just glue this down as well. Okay, so here you can see why the arms are funky. They're coming out of the hat, and there's just something weird about it. So I went back, I popped them off, and I cut it at this angle here. So this is what you're going to want to do in the beginning. And now I'm going to make them come out like this. And this makes a lot of sense. But you can see how those gloves are pretty dang big. So again, I recommend gloves. Okay, now I'm going to decorate the hat, and I have this pick from Dollar Tree as well as that pumpkin pick, and I'm going to go ahead and like intertwine them here. I'm going to take the pumpkins off, and then I'm going to add them to that first pick, and then this I'm going to stick down into the top of the hat. So here you can see that. And then I just grabbed the stick that I had left from the stem there, and I wrapped a black pipe cleaner around it to make him a wand. And then I glued that wand here into his hand. And then when I was decorating him, I had him holding a potion bottle, or then this other one, I had him holding some spell books, all from Dollar Tree. He really did turn out close to my vision, and I enjoyed him. What should we name him? I hope you enjoyed all of this Halloween inspiration, and until next time, happy crafting.